What's up? I'm Brian Drake with the latest retro here on the Dice Tower. We're taking a look at Queen Games Luxor. Brendan Fraser the Mummy meets Indiana Jones meets a Euro game. Is it fun? Let's take a look inside and see how this card laying, board moving sort of game, manipulation of spaces works right now. Then we'll come back and see if it's any fun. So this is Luxor set up right here. All of these tiles are different every time you play. So when you set it up, you'll put all the treasure tiles out. That's the ones with this back. All of these Horus or Osiris tiles, they'll have these arrows on them. You put them out randomly on these spaces with the arrows. These will just kind of skip you ahead spaces. These tiles here, I think these are the Osiris tiles, they will determine whether you either take a key or whether you take one of these cards over here. Depending on the number of eyes is the number of type of card you can play. One thing's missing would be these two sarcophagi here, in which you can get extra points if you're the first one in this room. The keys that I mentioned just a minute ago, these have to be used to get inside the sarcophagus room here. And the way you do that is you actually have to have an exact landing number card. Now let's talk about your hand. In your hand you have 5 cards. You can never change the order of these cards once you're dealt the cards. You are able to look at them at any time. On your turn, you will either take the card on the far left or the far right. You'll play it, you'll do that action. Now for instance, this 4 lets you move one of your characters, one of your adventurers, 4 spaces. This one will let you move 2. This one with the plus or minus means you can move plus or minus 1. This one with the dice symbol means you pick up the dice, you roll that many, you move that many spaces. These cannot be split unless it specifically tells you. Some of these special Osiris cards over here say that you can move all of your adventurers 1 space. Normally though, it's 1 adventurer, the amount of spaces shown on the card. So let's just say I played the 4. I would play the 4, place it right down here. I would then take one of my characters, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. In order to claim this, I would have to have 2 adventurers on that space. So I would redraw, back up. That card goes into the middle here, which means the card you just drew won't be available for at least 1, 2, 3 turns to use, or something like that. The math may not be exactly right on that, but that's pretty far down the line. It's not available the next turn, but you can strategize because if you take this side, then this side, then this side, you're pulling the cards closer this way. But if you kind of go this side, then this side, then this side, then this side, it takes a little bit longer, but you can strategize your hand that way by looking at what's coming. Again, you can never change this order, but as soon as you play one, you'll draw one and put it in the middle there. So I love that kind of strategy there, as your hand's going to change as you play the game. Now, couple of interesting spaces to notice. When you pass one of these spaces with all of your adventurers sitting on it, your extra adventurers, this adventurer will go back to the beginning and you will have him to use as well. So or her to use as well. So at the end of the game, you will have 1, 2, 3, because you start with 2, 3, 4, 5 adventurers total, all of which can be moved all around the board in different spaces. In order to claim a treasure, you would have to have that many adventurers there. You immediately score the points listed on the treasure, so this would be 3. These guys just stay right here. You pull this off, it goes into your treasure stack. Now here's the thing, notice this snake symbol here. Some of the spaces have symbols like snakes, lions, or eagles. I think it's an eagle. When that's played, this card will then flip, this tile will then flip over, there's a whole stack of them, into this space, which means now that this space, when landed on by someone, will give people scarabs. Scarabs are different point tokens that range from, I think, 1 to 4, or maybe 2 to 5. Either way, it's a way to get extra points. Yeah, it's 1 to 4, I believe. At the end of the game, you can get extra points by having these. The other things to score the game with, let's just talk through this really quickly. First of all, the placement of where your adventurers are when the game ends. The game ends when 2 people enter this chamber. How that works is you'll notice that these spaces around the board all have a point value. The further in the temple you go, the higher the point value, to where if you're in this space, it's 13 points per adventurer, which means if you have 2 workers here, or 2 adventurers here, I should say, and then anybody anywhere else, so let's just say 2 here and 3 here, then you're talking about, 26 and 11 is 37, and then maybe 10 is 47 points just on those. Well, then you score the points for these sarcophagi. It's 5 for the first one, 3 for the second place. Your keys that you have left over are worth 1 point. Your sets are worth this track over here. So a set of types of goods, so there are jewelry, statues, and pottery. goes up like this. The more sets you have, the more points it's worth. So at the end of the game, if you have 7 sets, it's worth 42 points. I'm not sure that means so on, because I don't know that you can get more than that because of the spaces, but that's another way to get points there. Last but not least is your scarabs. Tally at the end of the game, see who has the most points, you win the game. That's really it. That's the whole crux of the game. You're not doing anything different than that. You're drawing cards, you're playing those cards. These spaces you skip ahead on. Other interesting thing to note, once let's just say this is claimed, well, this space is now empty. You do not count empty spaces when you're counting a movement. So this would now be 1. So sometimes you'll have it where this will be here. Well, someone will move here and claim this one, and it'll kind of totally mess up your strategy as to getting ahead, because your cards were set perfectly for your strategy and now they've been shifted 1 when someone takes that. So we like that aspect of being able to shift the strategy around. But that's how Luxor is set up. That's how it plays. One other thing to note, some of these different tiles over here will give you things like this. This is a wild card for the set. They're not worth any victory points immediately for the treasure, but at the end of the game, you can count these towards your sets. So an excellent way to get a lot of sets of points there. That's how it plays. If you have any more questions about this game, it's really simple. It really is, and I love you'll notice that the game is completely random every time you play. Everything is different from the cards you get. There's even a dice, which is not that bad, to all these cards being shuffled, to all the tokens and tiles, and there's actually 2 more of these spaces that skip you ahead that are not used. So everything is totally random. But I also love the fact that it's just so deep in how the strategy gets deeper and deeper and deeper, even though it looks pretty simple to start with. Really fun game. This is Luxor. This is how you play it. So that's Luxor. That's really the whole point of the game, is you lay those cards out there and you decide who's going to do what. Which of your people is going to move how many spaces. You know, you can maybe move this person instead of this person. It might be advantageous to build your strategy around this character, but then all of a sudden you get a really good card in your hand that wants to move this character forward. Let's talk about some things I really, really like. One thing that Queen Games does really well is they do the no word system. I've just kind of coined that, but if you look at the board and you look at the cards, there are no words anywhere. It's cool because it's not language dependent. You can play this game with anybody, and as long as you can get through the basics in a different language, you never need it on the board. You don't have to read anything. Go, what does this card do? Well, look at the picture and it tells you the symbology. I really like that, and they've done a great job with that, with this and Merlin and Pioneers and this one. Plenty of the other games as well, but these are the 3 I played recently. What other thing do I love about this? Well, I love the mechanic of having a hand of 5 cards and only being able to pull from the 2 ends. But I also love that you don't just take the top card. You take a card from either this side or this side, which means you can change your strategy up on the fly. And I really like that, because maybe you have a +1, -1 over here, and you have a single 1 over here, and you want to hit that same space. Or all the different things you go, well, this is perfect, I need to play this card, but coming up is a really bad card. I don't want that card yet. I need to hold off. And so you kind of decide between these 2. All the different treasure cards, the scoring, the getting more and more workers out there. It's a fantastic game. It's a good new addition to those games that are just maybe a step into the hobby a little bit deeper, but it's a really, really fun game. I think you should check out Luxor from Queen Games. We really enjoyed it. Had a blast. And the thing that I love the most, and I forgot to mention, is the complexity shift in the game. It starts very easy, but by the time you get 4 or 5 workers out there, you start going, or adventurers, whatever you call them, it gets way, way harder to really kind of focus and figure out what you want to do with your character. So that's what I love about this game. So go pick up Luxor from Queen Games. Can't say enough good things about this game. Excellent, excellent game. Hope it wins some awards, because I really, really like this game. And you know, deeper strategy is typically my style, but this one, a little bit lighter, but it gets deeper the more you play it and the further into the game you play, which is nice to have a strategy creep mid-game. I think that's cool. So that's it for me this time with Bryan Drake here on The Latest Retro on the Dice Tower. So many things to say, but I'm Bryan Drake. My channel's called The Latest Retro, but I'm here on the Dice Tower because I love the Dice Tower. It's a fantastic place. So glad to be a part of the Dice Tower. You should make sure you subscribe to the Dice Tower if you're watching this. Till next time, we'll see you.
We'll see you.
See you.
Let's do it again.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.